Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're trying to get our heads around a really big word, one that gets thrown around a lot. Enlightenment. It sounds so grand, right? Maybe even a bit mysterious. What are we actually talking about here?
That's exactly it. And we're going to try and peel back some of those layers today. Not add more mystery, but actually look at it through a, well, surprisingly rational viewpoint.
Okay.
And that comes from the philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti. We're using a great little clip, actually, from his official YouTube channel where he tackles this head on.
Right, so our mission for this deep dive is to explore Krishnamurti's take. It sounds like it might be quite practical, maybe immediate, and could challenge some common ideas we have about enlightenment.
Definitely challenges them.
So yeah, let's dig in.
Okay.
Krishnamurti kicks things off very directly. He basically asks, enlightened about what? Which immediately kind of grounds the whole thing, doesn't it? Takes it away from being just some vague spiritual goal. Absolutely.
He brings it right down to, concrete things we actually experience, like understanding your relationship with someone else.
Okay.
He suggests that often these relationships aren't really between two people, but they're based on images.
Images. Like mental pictures.
Exactly. Pictures we've built up over years, maybe based on reactions, indifference, comfort, maybe even, nagging or irritation. All these little stored up impressions.
Huh. So my image of you and your image of me, the relationship is actually happening between those two things, these constructions?
That's his point, yeah.
Wow. And so when you really see that, perceive the truth of it. That perception is a kind of enlightenment, being enlightened about the relationship itself.
Precisely. It's seeing the fact of the image, the mechanism, without getting caught in it. And he applies this elsewhere, too, like being enlightened about violence.
Right.
Not just, trying to stop being violent, but clearly seeing, as he puts it, the whole movement of violence, all its forms, without distortion.
Without judging it or wanting it to be different.
Exactly. Or understanding deeply how sorrow arises and how it might end. These fundamental human experiences.
But, okay, he does say, doesn't he, that this isn't usually what people mean by enlightenment. They often think of, well, someone special, someone claiming, I am enlightened, listen to me.
Yes, and he addresses that directly, this whole idea of claiming enlightenment. Krishnamurti suggests, pretty bluntly, that the moment someone says, I am enlightened, well...
They aren't.
They aren't. He calls it vanity. It's like someone going around saying, I am really, really humble.
Huh. Right. The statement itself proves the opposite.
Exactly. For him, humility isn't the opposite of vanity. It's not something you achieve. It's just what's there when vanity, or the self making the claim, simply isn't operating.
That really turns things on their head. Because, so many traditions or paths present enlightenment as this gradual thing, right? A step-by-step journey, something that takes time.
Loads of time. Sometimes even life after life, depending on the belief system.
So how does Krishnamurti deal with this idea of time being necessary?
Well, that's probably one of his most central points. He asks, point blank, is enlightenment a matter of time?
Okay.
And he defines time here, importantly, not just as clock time, minutes and hours,
right,
but as a gradual process of experience, knowledge, a constant movement from the past to the present and the future. He wants us to really look at what he calls the psychological structure, which has accepted time.
Psychological time? Can you break that down a bit? It sounds like you're saying our hope, our feeling that I'll get there eventually, is actually part of the problem, that it prevents us from, well, getting there.
That's precisely his argument. Psychological time is the mind living in the past, memory, analysis, regret, or living in the future.
Yeah.
Hope, ambition, fear, planning. It's the whole idea of becoming.
Becoming.
Yeah, like I am this now, but I will become that later. I am anxious now, but I will become calm. That gap, that movement towards a future state, that's psychological time. And this whole process of becoming, this constant striving to arrive somewhere else, to achieve something, or even to not become something, it's all rooted in the mind operating within this framework of time. It uses time as the tool, the means to get somewhere. But he asks, fundamentally, is there really such a thing as becoming?
Wow. Okay. He uses that example, I am violent, I will be nonviolent. Most people would hear that and think, okay, good goal, that's progress.
Right. Seems logical. Positive even.
But he says that by setting up nonviolence as a future goal, an ideal, you actually create a division, a conflict between what is right now the violence and what you think should be, and that division is conflict.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really radical. He says, the fact is violence, not nonviolence.
The fact is violence.
Yes. The idea of nonviolence in that moment when violence is present is what he calls a non-fact. It's an idea, a concept, a projection. It's not what's actually happening.
So non-fact is like an ideal, something that isn't real in the present moment.
Precisely. And he insists that this ideal, this non-fact, is what creates the struggle, the conflict between these opposites. He says the non-fact has no value. Only the fact has value. Only what is matters.
So, okay, if I'm following this, instead of trying to force myself to become nonviolent or suppress the anger or spend ages analyzing why I'm violent, what's the alternative?
The alternative he proposes is just to observe. To observe the whole movement of violence, the anger, the jealousy, the hate, competition, imitation, all of it.
Just watch it.
Yeah. Watch it without any direction, without any motive to change it or end it. Just pure observation.
Without the filter of, this is bad, I need to get rid of it.
Exactly. Without the judgment, without the goal projected by psychological time. He argues that if you can observe it that way, without motive, then there is the end of violence.
Just like that.
He suggests it's an immediate perception and action. This clarity, this insight, this sense of ultimate reality, as he calls it, is not of time. It's instantaneous. It happens now or not at all.
And that links to his idea that perception is action, not I perceive something, then there's a big gap where I think about it and decide what to do, and then I act.
Right. That gap, that great interval, as he calls it.
Yeah.
That's where psychological time creeps in. That's where we create the ideals, the non-facts, the conflicts, the confusion.
So the massive question he seems to leave us with is, well, is it even possible? Can the mind, can the brain actually be free of this huge accumulation, this burden of a million years of time? Can we see clearly enough for our actions to just be immediate, rational, sane, flowing directly from that clear seeing?
And connecting that back to the very beginning about enlightenment. Krishnamurti seems to suggest that ultimate truth, or reality, or whatever you want to call it, is not to be achieved through time.
It can't be achieved like reaching a goal.
Never. He says it is there or it is not there. It's not a destination you arrive at after a long journey.
Wow. Okay, that is definitely a thought-provoking deep dive. Krishnamurti really does challenge some very basic assumptions we have about learning, about changing, about what enlightenment even is.
Yeah, he strips away all the usual stuff, the time, the effort, the struggle to become something better, the pursuit of some ideal future state.
He just keeps bringing it back to the immediate present.
He does. He leaves us with this really radical idea that understanding, truth, they aren't things you gradually earn or build up to. They're potentially available right now, states of being, if we can somehow step outside that cage of psychological time and striving.
So thinking about this for yourself, how much of your own life, maybe your efforts at work or in relationships or even just personal habits, how much is tied up in that idea of becoming, of needing time to get somewhere? If truth or clarity or maybe even the end of a problem just is or is not right here, right now, how might that shift things? How might that change how you approach, well, anything?
It's definitely something to chew on.
Absolutely. Something to ponder until our next deep dive.